Dear friends, English literature. Elizabethan and Jacobean drama. Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. Short questions with answers. Short questions 32 to 39. Question 32. What is tragic hero? Answer. A tragic hero must be good, but he is not perfect. He has some error in judgment, as a result of which he moves from happiness to misery and ultimately dies. In Poetics, Aristotle says this is the sort of man who is not conspicuous for virtue and justice, but whose fall into misery is not due to the vice and depravity, but rather to some error. A man who enjoys prosperity and a high reputation, like Oedipus and Thyestes and other famous members of families like theirs. The qualities of an ideal tragic hero are as follows. Number one, a tragic hero should be good, but he should not be too good or perfect. Number two, he should not be villainous. Number three, he must be an intermediate kind of person who stands between complete villainy and complete goodness. Number four, he should be the author of his own downfall, that is, his misfortune is brought upon him by some faults of his own. Number five, he should be a person of great reputation and prosperity. Question 33. Describe Dr. Faustus as a tragic hero. Answer. A tragic hero should have some tragic flaw in his character, as a result of which he moves from happiness to misery and ultimately dies. Dr. Faustus invariably satisfies this condition. He has a serious flaw in his character, his ambition to gain superhuman power by practicing the black art magic. This flaw in his character brings about his ultimate doom. But Marlowe's conception of tragic hero differs from classical view in some respects. His tragic heroes are not of high rank. Faustus is of an ordinary German parents' base of stock. Marlowe infuses a Renaissance spirit in his tragic hero. In this respect, Marlowe achieves distinction. Dr. Faustus represents the spirit of Renaissance who shows great yearning for unlimited knowledge, power, and glory. Marlowe's tragic hero does not suffer external conflict, but inner conflict. Faustus's choice of necromancy is made after inner conflict. The appearance of the good angel and the evil angel side by side is the personification of good and evil impulses. According to some critics, Faustus is not fit to be a tragic hero. 4 times his good angel suggests him to return to right path. Once the old man warns him on 2 occasions. His own conscience advises him to repent, but there is hardly any revolt in him. His ambitions are too mean. His qualities are too contemptible to win our sympathy except at rare moments. Faustus therefore falls short of success as a tragic character. Question 34. What is allegory? Answer. An allegory is an extended narrative in prose or verse with double meaning, a primary or surface meaning and a secondary or under the surface meaning. In an allegory, the more is meant than meets the eye or the ear. It may be taken as an extended metaphor in which the characters, action, or ideas stand for some others. The secondary meaning of an allegory is always implied, not directly stated. The secondary meaning may be immoral, religious, political, social, or satiric. Characters of an allegory are generally the embodiments of abstract ideas such as greed, envy, hope, charity, fortitude, etc. Thus, allegory sustains interest on 2 levels. First, in the characters and actions described by the surface story. Second, in the ideas symbolized by them. For example, Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress is a famous English allegory. On the surface, it tells the story of a man named Christian whose journey from one country to another, who takes a journey from one country to another, one city to another. But on a deeper level, the problems he encounters represent obstacles that a good Christian must overcome to live a godly life. Question 35. Discuss Dr. Faustus as an allegory. as an allegory? Okay. Answer. Dr. Faustus may be treated as an allegory. It has a moral allegory with universal significance. Whoever discards the path of virtue and abuses faith in God and Christ is destined to despair and eternal damnation. In the play, the characters of the good and evil angels, the devils, the old man, and the seven deadly sins are also allegorical. These characters are capable of serving a double purpose. They are significant as symbols by virtue of what they symbolize. Dr. Faustus in the play is a symbol of a man admixture of virtue and vice. Mephistopheles is the symbolic representation of the evil in Faustus' soul. He is nothing but a projection of the self of Faustus. The good angel represents order, virtue, and goodness, while the evil angel stands for the baser spirits of Faustus, his indomitable patience and desires. Thus, the two angels are the two aspects of Faustus' own character. Helen, the paragon of beauty, stands for the sensual pleasures of life, which are but transitory and lead to despair and damnation. The old man, on the other hand, represents Christian faith that can assure eternal joy and bliss. The seven deadly sins are personified vices to which mankind is subject. All these vices are ingrained in human nature, and man's duty is to fight and conquer them with the grace of God. They symbolize the vices in the soul of Faustus himself. Thus, allegory provides material and machinery for the body of the play. Question 36. How does Faustus want to gather wealth and knowledge with the help of his magical power? Answer. Faustus desires to practice the black art of necromancy in order to gain superhuman power. He thinks that magical power will give him supreme authority over the spirits of hell who will carry out his command. He says that after gaining authority over the spirits, he will bid them fly to India to collect gold. From there, he will further command them to explore the ocean to collect precious pearls. He will also send them to all the corners of the newly discovered world, America, to gather for him delicious fruits and rich delicacies preferred by princes. The spirits will read to him the mysteries of a strange philosophy and reveal to him all the secrets of the kings and emperors of all foreign lands. He will further command the spirits to build a wall of brass all round Germany for its unyielding fortification. Question 37. What military feat does Faustus want to do with the help of the spirits? Answer. Faustus thinks that magic will give him supreme authority over the spirits of hell. The spirits will be at his beck and call. Thinking so, his imagination flies sky high. He desires to raise a big army with the vast wealth that the spirits will fetch him from all parts of the world. With the help of his army, he will expel Alexander Farnese, the Prince of Parma, the governor and general of Netherlands, from his country, Germany, and he himself will rule as the supreme monarch over Germany. The Prince of Parma besieged Antwerp and bridged the river Scheldt with a bridge of ships and boats to prevent aid being brought by sea. But the Dutch destroyed this bridge by means of a fire ship. Faustus here says that he will compel his spirits to invent new, more powerful weapons of war than the free ships which destroyed the Prince of Parma's bridge. Question 38. How does Mephistopheles punish Ralph and Robin? Answer. As the painter, there is barman accuses Robin and Ralph of theft. Robin wishes to punish them. To punish the barman, Robin begins to read incantations from Faustus' book. These incantations summon Mephistopheles, who appears and puts squibs, sizzling fireworks, in the back of Robin and Ralph, and they run around like loons. Mephistopheles then momentarily disappears. In fright, Robin gives the painter back his goblet. Mephistopheles reappears and complains that he has had to come from a long distance, Constantinople, just to satisfy the whims of the two rascals. Mephistopheles is very enraged. Robin offers him sixpence to pay for his supper, whereupon Mephistopheles feels even more annoyed and transforms Robin into an ape and Ralph into a dog. Question 39. How does Faustus feel frustrated in the last scene of his life? Answer. On the final night before the expiration of the 24 years, Faustus is overcome by fear and remorse. Being utterly frustrated, he begs for mercy, but it is too late. He understands that whatever he enjoyed will be lost now. He also understands that he will go to hell forever, and there is no pardon for his sin. In repentance, Faustus says, but Faustus' offense can never be pardoned. He tries to pray to God, whom he one day discarded and defamed, but he cannot pray to God. He has done so big sin that it has become impossible for him to pray to God or get the pardon from God. He also tries to pray to Jesus Christ, but he understands that his heart cannot do it very well. He thinks of Pythagorean philosophy, in which it is stated that after the death of a person, the soul enters into the life of a beast. He hopes that his philosophy was true, and this way he would not suffer, but his soul would go to the body of a beast. He thought that the beasts have no pain and no suffering, they have no sorrow, but all this is a wishful thinking on the part of Faustus. While the clock strikes 12, Faustus became terrified. At the time he was to die, the devil's disciples are approaching to snatch his soul away to hell for eternal damnation. To escape from damnation, he now wishes his body to be turned into air, so that Lucifer may not catch hold of him to carry him to hell. He also wishes his soul to be changed into water drops, which may mingle with the waves of the ocean, so that the devil may not be able to take his soul away to hell. But there is no power that can drive away the devil at his door and save him from the impending doom. Thus Faustus feels utterly frustrated in the last scene of his life. Thank you, friends, for watching my video.